Hello, my name is Omar Rabasad. It is 4:48 p.m., March 24th, 2020. So doing this live stream to counter-indicate the reports being made about me from 25 Bamberg Circle. I've tweeted a bunch of tweets today. I tweeted a bunch of tweets today, and I posted a YouTube video about what's going on, and some from or done by what a lot of people, or who a lot of people call a conspiracy theorist. In my opinion, some of the things that this person says resonates, some of it. It's possible some are conspiracies and some are not. So anyways, let me just start by showing you some of the signals around my body. So the RF reading is high, and there is a spot right above the hip area, just above the butt, lower hip area, that's tagged, and it's hurting right now. Yeah, so the jaw is tagged, and the obliques. And this is the area I was referring to. That's the lower hip area. So the power is turned up on me. The back, the hip, the leg. So I'm just going to show you the reading of my hand here. Notice the RF reading. Now the power was turned up last night, and there is a male outside the window today who called a name. Normally, the pimps outside the window who logged in during the night as I sleep, and who have other people log in. They come outside the window and they call the names, and if they don't do it personally, they have somebody else do it. So it's remote trafficking using 5G technology, or maybe a variation of the 5G technology system. My unit is being pulsed with certain frequencies as these signals show. When I leave this area right here in front of this computer, and I leave this detector on my desk, right on the table right here, it alarms. However, it doesn't always alarm. So it means that this location is tagged, I'd say most of the time, but not all the time. It alarms in the bedroom. It alarms in the sofa. It alarms all around the sofa. It alarms in the kitchen near the sink. So these are places that I am sitting in or lying down at any point in the day. So most of the time during the day I spend in front of the computer, which is here. So if I left this on the table and I move away, the alarm continues, which means that the location is tagged. The frequencies are concentrated, turned up on the location. So I also demonstrated that the power is turned up on me. I also demonstrated that the power is turned up. Sorry, the power is turned up more in certain areas of the body. Underneath the arm, and you may have noticed that underneath the arm, it's just a little bit darker. That's because underneath the arm is constantly pulsed. And just like how my face, and it's getting a whole lot better because I shield it and I use some special creams. But yeah, so you notice that the arm is just a little bit darker, not a whole lot, but it's darker in some areas than others because underneath the arm, like right here, is pulsed all the time. And there are areas on my thighs, the butt, it's hyperpigmented because it's constantly being pulsed. So when the area is pulsed constantly, it's like friction that causes a scarring effect on the body. So there's a lot of pigment formed, at least in my skin type. So yeah, so as I was saying, I digress there. So as I was saying, there are certain areas in the body that are tagged at a higher power. And there are certain areas in my home that are tagged at higher power. So you notice the RF reading there, and the RF reading is this number here. 11, down to 6, 10. And that's pretty high. Notice the RF reading. So my eyes at a lower power, which is burning. This eye is tagged at a higher power and it's burning and hurting. The ear. The thyroid. And I do have an overactive thyroid, the symptoms also. And that's because thyroid is part of the body's defense system against this radiation. I'm going to take the temperature, 36.7, which is a little bit high. 36.7, 36.6. (37.1), and as usual, the right side is hotter than the left. If you look at my other videos, you'll see that this is consistent finding. It is a consistent finding. (37), and I don't have a temperature. It keeps getting turned off because I keep touching the sensor, which is right here. 36.8. 36.8. So I really don't have a temperature. So So the arm is being pulsed constantly. 36.1. And the temperature is also going up and down, 36.1. 36.1. 36.1. 36.6. So no temperature. From 37.1 to 36.7 in seconds. 36.7. So the air, which is being pulsed, 36.6. It's a little bit high. Right down to 36.0. 0.6 degrees in a matter of seconds, which means that the tag in the air was removed instantly, and the temperature instantly changes. Not even a second. 36.0. So there is absolutely no fever. 36.0. There is, however, a lot of microwaves around me. 36.1. 36.2. 36.2. 36.2. So there is no fever. But the microwaves, the focused microwaves, 36.3 on the forehead. 36.3. And I noticed that the nurses, healthcare workers are taking temperature on the forehead. Now, if somebody zaps you, your forehead is the first thing that heats up. So and that's interesting. So let me take the pressure. So I feel really tired today because I heard that one of the contractors had the contract and he had arranged some raping events, remote raping. So during the night, excuse me, and I just burped. That's because of the heat that's being generated. One of the contractors was outside the window and he called some names, and this means that he put his name on the account. He had an account open, and I was jail baited, meaning that the cops were going to come and get me if I didn't do as he says, as he indicated. He was imprinting, indicating that he had the account and he was in control, like PK. It's the same template being used, and then he sends people in, so I could choose one. And he sends and he calls names. The Black people have it. Some contractors, companies' names he called. He called some people who interviewed me but never got back to me, didn't give me the job. People who I worked with in the past, and other people who have accounts and reported on me. So apparently I'm being played with like basketball. If you drop it and a due processes, then everybody's going to be dragged into the court procedure, which they don't want happen. So I'm being passed around and around and around until I'm degraded mentally, emotionally, physically by the directed energy weapons, being made poor, kept poor, harassed, imprisoned, psychologically degraded, and then I will die out, or I'll be zapped to death. So the template that everybody, quote unquote, and I'm not convinced that everybody is taking part in it, but everybody who comes in contact with me have the option of taking part in it. Everybody knows. So let me use the word everybody in that context. Everybody knows that number one, I'm a target. Number two, I'm a guinea pig. Number three, I'm to be bamboozled. None of this should be told to me, undisclosed to me. And number four, I'm being passed around, and a lot of people are taking turns to practice on me to be managers, which means that they're looking at me live, documenting what they're seeing, piggybacking on what was reported on me previously, and using directed energy weapons to discipline, intimidate, keep me in pain, torture, and rape, to degrade. So my blood pressure is normal. It's 118/76. But that doesn't mean that it's not fluctuating. So let me do it. I am actually in pain. The back of my neck is tightening up. And yeah, but it's on and off. So the pressure is going up and down. And so is the pain. Wow, it's been 16 minutes already. It's unbelievable how time flies. I'm just going to stay quiet for a few seconds while I get a reading here. So yeah, this exactly it, as is exactly what I said. 126/77, and that's the pain factor registered. So it was 118/76 and went to 126/77, and the heart rate was the same. So signals go up, signals go down, pain go up, pain go down, and when the power, and that depends on the power. And if the power is suddenly very, very high, you get a heart attack when you drop dead. You will drop dead. Your heart is going to literally stop, which it's done with me. I woke up one night in pain. My skin was burning. My head was killing me. My chest was killing me. I was in so much pain, and I put my hand on my wrist to get a pulse reading, and there was no pulse. And as soon as I got up and I started walking, actually, I cooled my body down. I'd imagine that there was a pulse, or else I wouldn't have been able to get up. But I couldn't feel the pulse, because normally, when I put my hand on my pulse like this, and normally I could feel it right away. When my blood pressure is normal, I could feel it without any effort or without any thinking. As soon as I put my hand on, I feel it. So of course the heart rate, okay, so I said it would stop. I guess I have to qualify that, because if it had stopped, I'd be dead. But it would have dropped to such a point that it would be faint. And maybe it had stopped, for a millisecond, a second, 2 seconds. It's very possible. And then started all over again if I turn or I move. I suspected it didn't stop. But because I had this kind of weak, shaky feeling when I got up out of bed, and my foot was weak, and my legs were weak. But this is exactly the same feeling I had in one of the workplaces when I felt this intense burning sensation and a pulse on my chest. I could actually feel an impact effect on my chest. And I couldn't stand. My feet gave way. It's the same idea. It's exactly the same symptoms that I felt. So this is not sleep apnea. Sleep apnea doesn't cause intense burning sensation both on your skin and inside of the body cavity. If you Google sleep apnea and look at the symptoms, it doesn't come with burning sensations. Anyway, it's going on 20 minutes. I'm going to take my blood pressure one more time, and and then I'll stop. So yeah, last night was really bad, and you could see I looked tired. There was a pressure on my body, and the frequencies entered my body. Because sometimes I fall asleep and I get, maybe I fall asleep on the sofa and I go into the bed and I don't shield properly. And somehow the person upstairs have the same schedule as me during the night. And these signals will be aimed in such an angle that it does get through the little parts of my body that is not shielded. So the pressure went up a little bit higher, 128/80. And my legs are hurting right now. My legs are being pulsed. So I'm not gonna, I mean, this is so repetitive. The heart rate went up from 73 to 75. The blood pressure went from 126/77 to 128/80. And when the power is turned up, I get a little bit of inflammation when I don't shield properly. A little bit of inflammation in my throat. Now there's no cough, as you could tell. I don't have a fever. There's just a little bit of inflammation in the back of my throat. So there is which completely disappeared. By tomorrow it'd be gone, if not tonight. So turning up the power inflames your body. It gives you flu-like symptoms. And it gives you a temperature. So talk to you another time, hopefully.